Welcome to the Farmers Branch Chamber Chat. This morning we have Jesse Castaneda of State Farm. He has been incredibly involved in our community since opening a business here, was a rock star at our Chamber Olympics, and now he's here to talk about empowering others, leadership, and personal discipline. Welcome, Jesse. How are you today?
Hi, good morning, Grace. I'm doing good, thanks.
Awesome. So, where would you like to slice into this? First of all, I do want to say thank you. Obviously, Veterans Day was yesterday. The Marine Corps birthday was before that. So thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And so you're still a Marine Reserve, is that correct?
Yes.
What does that look like?
A week and a month, and 2 weeks out of the year, depending on the training that we're doing for that year.
Okay. And then I know some things about, your personal schedule. Share a little bit about the personal discipline that you employ in your life, getting up early, working out.
So yeah, with that, the goal is I always have my alarm set at 4:45. I try to start working out no later than 5:15 in the morning. And even sometimes the sleep is not always the greatest for myself, but even still pushing through that tiredness to get out of bed and get into the garage so I can work out.
What drives you to do that? I feel like, everybody knows they should exercise or this, that, and the other. What do you feel like gives you, that discipline or desire?
Well, for starters is being a Marine, you got to lead by example. And at the end of the day, we do a lot of physical training when it comes to just training for time of war or even our physical fitness test or combat fitness test. I just want to make sure that I'm always up and ready, and I can lead by example for my Marines. And ultimately, the truth also lies with I would not be a big fan of one of my Marines beating me at one of these events.
Do you feel like that discipline translates into other parts of your life?
Yes, I would say it definitely does. It resonates big time, especially here in the office. It's a small, basically family, and sometimes they tell me, "Hey, this is not the Marine Corps. Back off a little bit." So I got to back off a little bit at times.
Understandable. So talk about, I know that, I had the chance to interview you a couple weeks ago as well. And so I want to recap some of that for our chamber audience. Talk about some of the, skills and the tactics, if you will, that you have, used with your employees through 2020, through COVID, in terms of being able to empower your team and navigate this time as a small business.
So the biggest thing is I've come to learn, especially coming here in the civilian sector per se, it's definitely a lot more different of me being able to give an order versus trying to have that communication with, day-to-day folks that I employ at this time. So one thing I've learned is I've let go more of trying to manage the office and more of these are the bullet points I need to get taken care of, whether it be at a, annual, semi-annual, quarterly, monthly, weekly, and down to the daily basis. And I let them talk about the week, how's it look, and I'll let them make that plan for the day, for the week, and depending on what they say. For the most part these days, I really don't intervene too much. I let them just run with it, and they're really good about hitting all the goals.
That's awesome. So you've made it more just outcome-based as opposed to micromanaging.
Correct. Yeah, because that way they take ownership in what they do. And, there's one thing I remember, and I mean, I still do it. It's always taking ownership in what you do. And when you give somebody that purpose to be able to fulfill that goal or that dream, whatever it may be, they tend to do a lot better than someone else tell them, "Hey, do it like this, do it like that. You're doing it wrong. Try that." So I just let them go about it. And if we need to sit down and talk about it based on the outcome that they have, we'll sit down and move forward from there.
Awesome. Do you find it easier or more difficult to specifically work with and manage family members?
I'm getting goosebumps as you say that. It just, I would say it just depends on the time. Just, I'm when it comes to being here, even though my wife just works here in the office, I have a procedure for the office. Some people think it's really strict. However, when I hire someone, I always give them the opportunity to get licensed within 30 days. If they don't get licensed within 30 days, depending on how they did in that 30-day period, I may move them to part-time until they get licensed and give them probably another month. If they don't get licensed within that 30-day period and then it didn't jive too well, then I just ask them, please move on. And, this place is not for them. And I actually stated the same thing to my wife, that if she didn't pass her test within 30 days, that, she was not going to be a right fit for the office. And it's nothing against her, but at the end of the day, the reality is, in order to grow, you have to have the right team. And if she's not a part of that right team, then I was going to ask her to go find something else.
Ooh, how did that go over?
She understood quite well, because she was a teacher for 14 years, and unfortunately she dealt with a lot of teachers here and there where sometimes they probably should have not been teachers, and it made it harder on the ones that actually wanted to be there.
That makes sense. I met your wife. She's incredibly sweet and also clearly very mature as it comes to, business and navigating. It seems like you guys work as a great team, and even when Mateo comes around.
Oh, yes. He's a troublemaker.
He has a little more than 30 days to get certified, right?
Oh, yes. Yes. We're just work in progress.
So let's talk about your personal style of business. What do you do your personal style of business?
Okay.
What do you do that is unique to your industry or to the community?
For starters, I like to believe that just take everything out that we just said. I don't look at the family based, don't look at the Marine Corps based, I don't look at the business based. I like to do a lot of reflecting, and one of the biggest things that I want to do in life, just as a person, as a man, being here, is just to be able to help, partner, guide, or educate everybody I talk to. And I base everything around that, and everything just kind of comes into fruition along the ways.
That's awesome. I'm going to pop up real quick a comment here from Alex. He says, you and your family are a great team. Mateo's all good.
Thanks, Alex.
So,
he says if this weekend I can come drop him off, he'd like you a lot too.
Awesome. All right. So Alex, you've been voluntold to be babysitting this weekend. If you're still listening, may the odds be ever in your favor. So Jesse, I'm going to bring up something that, I really respect about the way that you do business. And, as someone who's younger, I shoot you a text and you pick up the phone and you give me a call. And I know that you still go out and you do in-person visits to the businesses. I feel like that's becoming a lost art. People do hide behind email or text message. And I think I get one text message back from you for every 10 that I send, because you normally just pick up the phone and call. And it's not that I want to hide behind it. Sometimes just sending reminders or something. But, how does that, talk about that? Why is that your style? What?
I just I prefer that to be my style, just I find it very impersonal, and I do fully understand that that's the day and age we live in today. So back to my team, I make sure that I also hire on my weaknesses, which that's definitely one of them. And I have a good team here that is half the time they're like, we sent you a text yesterday, Jesse, and I'm like, well, if you send me a text and I didn't answer within a few minutes, it's best you pick up the phone, or else it doesn't count. So, but they're really good about texting. We have a group text that we always go through, and there's text messages always going in there left and right, and I just kind of look at them and just move on.
It's like you're not even a millennial sometimes.
Yes, I've heard that a few times from you already.
So what else would you like to share about? I know that you're really involved in the community. You have, passion. I know we've talked about, helping support a Hispanic-owned business program. What would you like to see? What do you feel like your legacy is in this community?
Well, one thing I would really like to see if I can make, the goal is to make a big impact in the community, is once and foremost is, being that I come from a service background myself, is taking care of the ones that are serving our community, from first responders to EMT, EMS, firefighters, and then taking it from there and then going next level or next step, which would then be the teachers as well. Because at the end of the day, I feel that even like right now as we speaking, my son is in school right now, and he's in the hands of the teachers that are teaching them. And I just want to say thank you to that community. So I definitely I don't like talking about it too much, just because to me it feels kind of like a more of an I'm exploiting them type of situation more than anything else. But anytime I get the chance, if I can go sit down and eat, break bread with one of the fire departments or some of the police officers, I'm always up for it and always happy to help them out as well.
I will say it's one thing, and specifically I'll address this to our audience of listeners. Jesse is very humble and has really jumped in with both feet. And every time I brag about him, he doesn't really like it. But at the same time, somebody needs to, because really what you do, for this community is just great. You've, again, just served in so many ways. You jumped in, joined the chamber, said, how can I help? How can I serve? Again, you've taken care of our police and our first responders throughout the summertime, and even beyond that. So just thank you for being who you are. Thank you for that selfless generosity that you clearly have, that's just deep within you. So obviously that translates into business. So let's jump back to some business topics. What do you feel like is different from pre-2020 to post-2020? What will you keep as the changes that we've all had to make in pivoting this year?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things, especially coming from the Marine Corps background, is we thrive on chaos. The Marine Corps has a saying, improvise, adapt, and overcome. So it all started with the tornado that happened October 20th of 2019. Where it wasn't that far away from Farmers Branch. It was just neighboring, just on the other side of 635. So at that point in time, I made the decision to make sure that I got a way for all my employees to work remotely in case the office always was leveled down to ground zero. So originally pre-COVID, we were doing great, starting off the year fine. Then COVID happened, brought my team in, assured them that I was not going to fire anybody, assured them that, remind them, hey, what are you grateful for first and foremost? Because at the end of the day, even going through a pandemic, there's still something you got to be grateful for. We're still here. We're still alive. Unfortunately, there's people that are not here longer with us due to this pandemic. So, having them talk about it first, reassuring that nobody's getting fired, and reintegrating them back into somewhat of what it was prior to. So I had a step process of bringing them back into the office, which we're all in here full time at all times. And moving forward, and even through the pandemic, we've actually been doing really well, a lot more than anticipated. And just kind of looking forward into the future, you've been here into my office. It's a small 950 square foot office. However, just given the situation, just trying to keep the overhead low, and probably something for business owners out there to think about. Again, I'm a very transparent person. What I'm planning on doing is I'm going to start hiring some more people. I'll have an alpha team and a Bravo team. Probably the alpha team works on odd days in the office while the Bravo team is working remotely. And then on even days, that's when Bravo team comes in, and then alpha team will be working remotely, just so I can continue to grow.
That's awesome. That sounds like a good idea and keeps it simplified and streamlined.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm just like processing through that. That's a really great idea. I think some other employers could probably take notes on that. I'm going to go to some of our comments real quick. Your new neighbor, Sean, said, Jesse, thank you for helping me get going in Farmers Branch. You're the best.
Oh, no. I do want to say a special thanks to him as well. Sean, thank you very much. Gotten to know him a lot. Great guy. Really love the shop, especially because it's just like within feet away. I can just walk out my door and I'm there. But more, I also want to say thank you very much. First, happy birthday to any Marines that are on here. Happy Veterans Day to any veterans that are on here. But to Sean, thank you for providing that amazing cake. And I told him the other day, that's definitely the best Marine Corps cake I've ever seen out of all the Marine Corps balls I've ever been to. So thank you for that, Sean. I greatly appreciate it.
Man, I should have had a picture of that ready to go because that was a serious cake. I hope you
Yes,
guys
it was.
take it home and are going to eat it for the next year.
I think it's in the freezer right now.
Very well, very well. And all right, so we got a couple other thank yous. Alex also says thank you for your service. Thank you for being a leader. Meryl from Office Furniture said thank you for your service. So just want you to know, I know that you're very humble, but people are grateful that you're around and for the things that you do. You're definitely making a difference and making waves, even if it's under the radar and without using text messages or the book face, as you like to call it.
Yes. Yes. No. One thing I will ask, and I know we've been talking about it for the longest. This will be my 14th consecutive year doing Toys for Tots. For any small businesses out there, if you've done it before, I highly encourage you to get started on it. If you would like to get into it, please let me know. I have the address, phone number, point of contacts for where you can pick up boxes. If you need any Marines and dress blues, I can be there. I've always asked my Marines, and there's not been a time that they do not volunteer to come out for such a great cause. So as of right now, Sean, thank you. He's already gotten set up. He's got a box in his shop as well. We're working with a few of the apartment complexes here in the Farmers Branch area to get started on that as well. So, my goal is to set a big event. Given that we're able to with everything going on right now, and if I do, then I'll invite everybody out.
Awesome. I have what might be a silly question, but maybe not. Could you elaborate a little bit more on the Toys for Tots program? Like, obviously, I think most of us know, you bring a toy, you drop it in the box. But do those just kind of go to a central location and get re-divided out? Or if businesses in Farmers Branch have a box, do those go and stay within the local community?
So with the Toys for Tots, what it is first and foremost, thank you for bringing up that question. As I mentioned a moment ago, it has to be a new and unwrapped toy that has to be dropped off. For businesses that would like to get it done, you don't have to have an actual Toys for Tots box. You can create your own Christmas one. I've seen some really neat ideas out there that folks create, like the train that's on the actual Toys for Tots box. And what happens is whenever all the toys are collected, this year they have to be turned in by the 13th of December. They get delivered to a warehouse. Every year it's different depending on who donates a space big enough for us to go drop off all the toys. There's always Marines and volunteers in there working, and what they do is they separate the toys by age category and by gender, and then they get redistributed based on who requests these toys. So you can go onto the Toys for Tots website, and then you can depend on if you're an organization, or you can go in there and request toys, and you can just put boy, girl, and the age that they're in, and then they'll separate toys and make sure that they get delivered out to you guys. And it's also broken out even further to the degree of, in certain counties, they go to a specific location as well.
Okay. That's awesome. That's good to know. So they kind of go directly to the families, but also partner with other organizations that would help redistribute those based on need.
Yes, correct. So yeah, and it's all done through the Toys for Tots website. I think it's dfwtoysfortots.com that you can go now and go in there, and then there you can go and sign up there as well.
Awesome. I mean, I apologize if that seems like a silly question, but I always like to know how things work on the back end, and it, never really dawned on me like, oh, how does that work? Obviously I know what we do as the civilians, as the people who donate, but I always like to understand the intricacies of the behind the scenes. So thanks for explaining that out a little bit further.
No, of course. And if there's anybody that's not here in the direct Farmers Branch area, anywhere in the DFW, you can always go to the Toys for Tots website and see where the drop sites are at, and there might just be one really close to you.
Awesome. Yeah, I know I see them all the time everywhere. So obviously Sean's going to have a box. I know they always have a box at the Sam Pack Ford dealership. So be on the lookout for that. So how can people get in contact with you? What closing thoughts would you like to share? The floor is yours.
Oh, no, no. So yeah, so the biggest thing that I always tell folks, and I've been getting better at this, and I always say, well, I've been starting to say I've stolen this line from Alex, but just the biggest business that we can get in here is referrals. Anything that has to do with insurance, we can pretty much do it all. If it's something we can't do, we can find you some options to still be able to guide you to get to what it is that you're looking to get when it comes to insurance.
Awesome. And how do they get in contact with you? Where are you located?
So I'm located here off of B Street and Valley View Lane, right across the street from Cox Farmers Market store. It's there. It's here in the Mustang. Was it the Mustang station? It's right, literally right across the street from there. If you guys want to call the office, it's 469-680-1992. And you can also go to Google and just Google us, and then all our information is in there as well if you want. If you rather click in or email in or call in.
Awesome. Well, Jesse, I really appreciate your time today. I appreciate your service to our community, to our chamber. For those who don't know, Jesse was recently voted on to our 2021 Board of Directors. So he will be helping to lead our Latinos en Los Negocios program, or whatever you guys want to call it. You can make it cooler. But it's definitely a segment of the community that we want to serve. We know we have a lot of small and family-owned businesses that are Hispanic-owned. And so we want to help just give all of our businesses a voice of all shape and size, and, you know, minority-owned, whether it's women, veteran, Hispanic, Black. We're here just to support and to see this community flourish. So thank you for stepping up and helping take the torch on that. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Grace, and thank you to everybody.
You'll be much better at it than I'm sure I am. So thank you for joining us today, Jesse. Thank you to all of our chamber members out there supporting us at this time. We're excited to bring you guys some new content, some new things in the next 2021. So stay tuned to the chamber chat, and feel free to check out our website, farmersbranchchamber.org, or follow us on Facebook. We'll see you next week.